Your brother's soul is mine. You will be next.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we're back with another brew from Modern Horizons 3 Early Access. This deck in particular was one that consists of some cards that are some of my favorites in the set that I just really wanted to push myself to brew with. This one's called Soul Sucker, and the idea here is we're trying to abuse the new Sorin Planeswalker, as well as Ajani, but we're using it in an aristocrat-style deck with Warren Soultrader and some of the other new cards that support aristocrats archetypes, and it's kind of wild, honestly. This thing is insane. But we're going to show you, before we break down the deck, make sure you like if you haven't already. It's all of you guys that are liking every video that's helping this channel to grow so quickly. Thank you so much to everybody that does that. It honestly means the world. If you're new here, subscribe so you never miss an upload. Got tons of deck techs on the way, tons of cool spoiler content, and some surprises I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but soon. Very soon. With that being said, we're going to break down the deck, but make sure you catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Now let's break it down. Alright, so the idea with this deck is very simple. We're going super wide with a ton of creatures that are either being able to give us life when other creatures enter the battlefield, or make our opponent lose life when our creatures leave the battlefield. And then we have some pretty cool payoffs that can just end the game outright by sacking a bunch of creatures and just going straight to the face. So first off, Warren Soultrader. 3/3 for 1 black and 2. You can pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, and create a treasure token. So this gives us a sack outlet that costs us no mana. It does cost life, but we're gaining a bunch of life in the deck, so it kind of negates it and counteracts that, which is really awesome. So not only do we have a free sack outlet here that can just sack everything and get all of our pings and triggers for when things die, but we're getting treasure tokens with each one, which we can then use to play even more stuff and sack even more stuff, and just completely go off the rails. We've also got Marionette Apprentice, 1 black and 1 for a 1/2 human artificer with Fabricate 1. So when it enters, you can either put a +1/+1 counter on the apprentice, or make a servo, which is a 1/1 artifact creature token. We're almost always going to make the servo. Getting 2 bodies for the price of 1 means that we can get multiple triggers when we're gaining life, and then we also have multiple things that can be sacrificed to make our opponent lose life. But in addition to that, the Marionette Apprentice itself is actually going to ping for 1 damage every time a creature or artifact we control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield. So not only are we able to capitalize on all of our creatures dying to ping them to death, but all of the treasure tokens that we're making with Warren Soultrader, as we're using them for treasure, they're also doing even more damage to our opponent, which means we can outpace our opponent with damage because we sack a creature to the Soultrader, we take 1, they take 1, but we get a treasure that when sacrificed they take another 1. So it's almost like every 1 life we lose, they lose 2, and we're gaining back a bunch of life too with some stuff that I'll get to in a little bit. We're also running 2 Ajani Nacatl Pariah, mostly because it's a 2-drop that gives us 2 bodies at once. 2 pretty relevant bodies, a 1/2 and a 2/1. And then when we sacrifice that cat warrior creature token, it's going to cause Ajani to be exiled and come back onto the battlefield as a planeswalker, which is really effective because we want to sacrifice our creatures anyway, right? So it comes back. For +2 loyalty, we can put a +1/+1 counter on each cat we control, which isn't always going to be useful, but there are a few situations, a few creatures we have that will be useful with. But mostly 0, make a 2/1 white cat warrior creature token. That's going to just allow us to make a free creature every turn that we can use for our gaining life, sacrificing to ping, all that good stuff. And then if we happen to get enough loyalty counters, we can -4. Each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest, so we can get rid of basically all of their blockers and just alpha strike for the win if we're wide with a bunch of creatures, which isn't going to come up very often, but it's another thing we can do. It's mostly just 2 creatures that can, you know, be sacrificed and then give us even more value that's generating more creatures on the backside. So it's just a lot of creature value, which is everything we kind of want for a deck like this for just 2 mana. We're also running 4 copies of Sorin of House Markov, 1 black and 1 for a 1/4 life-linking human noble with Extort, so we can get even more life with this guy. But the key here is anytime our post-combat main phase at the beginning, if we gain 3 or more life this turn, it's going to trigger and it's going to be exiled and come back into play as the Planeswalker. Then once it's the Planeswalker, we still have Extort on it, which means we can still continue to gain life when we cast spells. But most notably, we have -1 Sorin Ravenous Neonate deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn to any target. Since we're gaining so much life in one turn, once we're done vomiting out everything from our hand, we can immediately flip this, do the -1, and just do a ton of damage to our opponent's face. And if we absolutely have to, we can use it to kill one of their creatures or planeswalkers or whatever, which is really nice as well. There's also a little bit of extra upside here. +2, we can make a food token, use that to gain more life if we need it, or sacrifice it to get more triggers off of the Marionette Apprentice. And then we also have a -6 ultimate ability here. Gain control of target creature, it becomes a vampire in addition to its other types, and put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white permanent other than that creature or Sorin. And we have plenty of white creatures in this deck, so that could come up, but mostly just the -1 here closes out the game because the deck can just make so much life all at once. Just everything in the deck is either gaining us life or pinging the hell out of our opponent, and it's kind of insane. So let's talk about the bottom of the curve and work our way up. We've got 4 Guide of Souls. This card is insane. Probably the best 1-drop ever printed. I don't know. It's neck and neck with Ragavan and Esper Sentinel. 1/2 for 1 mana. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life and an energy. And then once you have 3 energy, when you attack, you may pay 3 energy. Put 2 +1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. You don't even need to attack with the Guide of Souls. Just whatever you attack with, you can trigger this and make it swing over, not be blocked, gain the evasion from the flying counter, and get in that extra damage so that maybe some of our pinging can get the job done that much sooner. We've also got 4 Lunarch Veteran because whenever we play a creature, we can gain a life, but this is also something that can be sacrificed to our Warren Soultrader and then come back as the Luminous Phantom, being disturbed from the graveyard as another creature to get even more triggers, can just come back for more. We've got 4 Ocelot Pride because the deck goes so wide, so quick, that we can just make even more tokens. It ascends when we play it. It has Ascend, and at the beginning of our end step, if we gained life, we get to make a 1/1 white cat creature token, and if we still have the City's Blessing, for each token we control that entered the battlefield this turn, we create a copy of it. Not only are we going to get a copy of that cat, but we can get a copy of any artifact tokens that we're making with Warren Soultrader, which can be kind of insane, and then some of the other tokens that we're making in the deck that we've talked about already as well. So getting extra copies of treasures with Ocelot Pride seems insane. And then it also can get us a little bit more life with that first strike and lifelink as well. And then of course 4 Soul Warden, because not only is this going to give us a life anytime we play a creature, but it's going to give us a life when our opponents play creatures as well. So even more life gain. Moving on to the 2-drop slot, we've got 4 Blood Artists, so that as we're sacrificing our board, we can do even more damage. The Blood Artist on top of the Marionette Apprentice can just be back-breaking. And then we've also got Elas il-Kor as another 2-drop that is not only making them lose a life whenever something dies, but it's also gaining us a life when a creature enters the battlefield under our control, just like all of our 1-drops are doing. So this is kind of doubling down on both synergies. So with all the life gain we can gain for Sorin to just end the game outright with the -1, and then all of the triggers we can get from Blood Artist, Elas il-Kor, and Marionette Apprentice to just do damage as everything dies, it's super, super easy to just absolutely smash the opponent's face out of nowhere and just end the game. And on top of things, we've got Pitiless Carnage, 3 copies of this, because we can plot it for 2 black and 1, and then wait until we have a huge board, and maybe we don't have our sack outlet being Warren Soultrader. This is just for 0 mana. If it's been plotted, gonna let us sack whatever we want, trigger all of our death triggers, kill the opponent if we need to, or get them close and just gas up on a bunch of cards that we can then replay because we still have all of our mana available if it was plotted. So just a really, really good sack outlet if we don't have the Warren Soultrader, and the one really good way in the deck to just gas up on a ton more. That being said, it can sometimes just sit in our hand and be a bit dead if our board isn't right for it. So I am only running 3 and not the full playset of 4. But I think it's too good to not include. You can even sack extra lands to draw extra cards. And like I said, because it's plotted and you don't have to pay any mana when you play it, you can make sure that whatever you're drawing into, you have mana available to play that stuff, which just makes this card that much better in a deck like this. And then we've got a whole bunch of dual lands, 4 Godless Shrines, 4 Concealed Courtyards, 4 Caves of Koilos, 4 Brightclimb Pathways, just 1 Takenuma, 1 Eiganjo, 1 Phyrexian Tower, because it does let us sacrifice a creature. So not only do we get an extra mana there, but we have a sack outlet if we need it. And then just 1 Agadeem's Awakening, because sometimes we can bring back some of those creatures for seconds, which seems kind of bananas. But don't take my word for it. We're going to dive into the games, and I'm going to show you exactly what it did. Let's check it out. 3 Guide of Souls and a Sorin. Let's fucking go. I'm here for it. I am so here for it. Devourer of Destiny. Sure. Cool. Trace on. Trace on. Trace on. I mean, it's certainly trying to devour your destiny, right? What do we got exiled? Aether Revolt. Ooh, an energy deck. Interesting. Guide of Souls. Into Guide of Souls, into Guide of Souls. Glimpse the Impossible. That is a whole lot of shenanigans. Guide of Souls, 2 energy. Swing. Let's get in for 3 in the air. Heck yeah. Insane. Actually insane. Actually insane. Holy moly.
Tired of adults pretending they know how to fix everything.
Hit for 9. Flip Sorin. And good night.
What am I?
Oh my god, it worked. It actually worked. Let's trace on again, it figures. More destiny being devoured. So, Guide of Souls. And then Elas, probably. Two in the narrative. Solar Transformer, that is a lot of energy. Alright, ping for 1. If we could just fill up the board with these blood artists and stuff, it'll be insane. Let's see what we can do. Another amped raptor. Nice. Nice, dude. Let's see. I think our best bet is to do something like this. Create a servo. Swing for 3 in the air. Let's see what our boys got in store. Well, Aether Revolt is down. Which is gonna be kinda rough. Blood Artist. Blood Artist. Let's get in there. So anytime something dies, he's taking 4. Which is crazy. If he kills 3 things, he's dead. We just Pitiless Carnage next turn, and we win. Bananas. We haven't even played the Warren Soultrader yet. That's the sack outlet that gives us mana. That's what we need to really go off. It works, Marvel. He has to just kill us outright without killing our creatures. Which is going to be really, really hard. Hey, there's the Warren Soultrader. Oh boy. Bananas, dude. Absolute bananas. We don't even need to sack everything. We can sack everything and hit him for a ridiculous amount. But we can just swing in because of God of Souls. That seems crazy, man. 2 Pitiless Carnages. That's not as good. I'm gonna keep it. Because it's better than trying to draw, but... Tune the narrative, sure. Let's trace on again. I don't think things are gonna go our way this time. Solar Transformer. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. hit for 1. How are we keep getting so many Guide of Souls? Oh man. I do not know. Get that energy, boys. Guide of Souls coming in. Goodbye, Blood Artist. Barely knew you. I barely knew you. So mean. It's mean too. Well, we'll hit for 4. Put him at 10. I lied. He's gonna kill something. Is what it is. Now we don't have anything to sack. Well, we can sack lands, right? I don't know how many lands we actually want to sack, though. Ow. Okay, I think we're shit out of luck. I think he's got us this game. We shall see. Another Pitiless Carnage? God damn, bro. Black, white, black, white, black. Sacking all our lands. Every single land, because what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? Can't believe we got all of our Pitiless Carnage. I mean, it's really important for gassing back up, though. If we had our sack payoffs on the board, it would be insane. Sack everything, get a whole bunch of triggers, and then draw a bunch of cards to just replay it all. And replace the board that we just lost. Right? Well, we got a God of Souls. That's something. You gonna kill something. Oh, he's gonna kill everything. See, this is a deck I tried to build earlier. It didn't quite work out. Pass a turn. Problem is the battle wagon with the Aether Revolts is just too good. He's just double shocking every turn just by tapping it. And if he can sack something first, 4 and 4, right? Brutal. He deserves it though. Ouch. What is the thing that's doing that? Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, you get an energy. I guess that would be the way to do it, huh? I guess that would be the way to do it. Just seems so expensive. Like, that's 4, the Battle Wagon's 4, the Aether Revolt's 4. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.